Hi there, thank you for joining us. I'm Emily Vukovic, and here are today's headlines. Dry in the Maritimes, hot and muggy days ahead for the east, and unsettled across the west. We'll show you all these details in today, and cooler temperatures. Calgary only getting up to 14 degrees this afternoon, well below your seasonal average. In through Regina, we're looking at 21, Winnipeg 31, but we do have that risk to see some active weather. We do have a low tracking its way across the Prairie provinces. I'll show you that in a moment, but first, looking at the risk map, where we could see the more severe weather is going to be in through parts of northwestern Ontario, anywhere around the triple point of this low, and then right into the warm sector where our temperatures are going to be rising. The trough behind it bringing in some decent rainfall amounts. Additionally speaking, we're looking at about 10 to 20 millimeters of rain through much of Alberta and in through Saskatchewan. And then where we are going to be seeing the heaviest rain is in through parts of the Interlake regions, 20 to 40 millimeters, moving in through parts of northwestern Ontario, where we actually do have a special weather statement in place. Now, where we are seeing hot and dry conditions is through parts of British Columbia, Vancouver. If you're off to the PNE, 23 degrees today. Tomorrow, even hotter, 28. That heat and humidity is going to be returning to BC. And where we are seeing the heat and humidity already is in through Toronto, 27 today. Feeling like 31. If you're off to the CNE, make sure you bring your sunscreen. Tomorrow, we're looking at 29, but feeling like 34. So it is going to be very muggy. It is going to be very hot throughout Ontario and Quebec for the next couple of days. This afternoon feeling like 31, and tomorrow feeling closer to 34. Windsor's going to feel like 36. All right, let's turn things over to Chris Murphy now for a look at today's top videos. Thank you so much, Chris. Now we take you to your question of the day. Have you started your back to school shopping? Yes? Well, that's what 39% of you have said, and no, 61%. I haven't started either, and my daughter starts school in the fall. It's hard to breathe when I think about it. She's just so little. Okay, coming up, your local forecast, we talked to Paul Brandt about weather, and we've got your pictures and share your weather in 6. Through flooding, if you see it, stay far away from it. Unfortunately, parts of Alberta still have more rain today. Tell you all those details now. My name is Emily Vukovic. Thank you for joining us here on the Weather Network. Temperatures are a little bit cooler too. We're only looking at 14 degrees for Calgary this afternoon. Brr. 18 through Edmonton. We've got rain and some active weather potentially right across the eastern prairies, backing up into Alberta right along that border, and then we could see the potential for some heavy rain, strong winds, and we're not ruling out any kind of supercell development, and the potential is there for some tornadic activity throughout parts of northwestern Ontario, around Kenora, through Ear Falls, all the way over towards Thunder Bay. If you look at the atmospheric spin, it's beautiful. I mean, you can really see this area of low pressure, and as it's tracking its way east. So it's going to be your story throughout much of southern Ontario Thursday and into Friday, really. Okay, take a look at this video. Today, we are going to be seeing some sunshine. Things are really starting to clear out. In through the lower Great Lakes, beautiful day. It's going to be hot. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be humid. Now, I do want to show you this. We do have a weather statement in place for the heavy rain along the warm front as it moves in through northwestern Ontario. And then this is kind of our bullseye area for where we could see that severe weather firing up. As this system moves its way across the Prairie provinces, there's the heavy rain through northwestern Ontario. There's that risk of isolated storms. And then we're going to start to see it Wednesday overnight and into Thursday around the lower Great Lakes. Okay, it is time now for Share Your Weather. Have you been taking part in this summer's Summer Bucket List Photo Challenge? We love to see your stuff. Okay, now we want to see some sidewalk art. Everybody that has kids knows all about chalk on the driveway. I have lots of it on mine. But we want to see your picture, and all you need to do is hashtag Summer Bucket List Challenge, and we will show it off to the rest of the country just for you. Okay, make sure you stay with us. Coming up, we've got your local forecast details, some really cool video in Force of Nature. Taking a look now at your top weather events, I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks for joining us. Your Weather Watch continues. Lots going on across the country in terms of active weather. We've got this spin, this area of low pressure across Alberta today. It's going to be moving in through Saskatchewan Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and into northwestern Ontario, bringing in the potential for some fairly active weather. We've got the risk to see some supercell development throughout parts of northwestern Ontario. We are going to be seeing strong winds, heavy rain, and the potential for some hail, and we're not ruling out the risk for some tornadic activity as well. We have got a nice ridge in the jet stream that is going to turn into a trough with that upper low by the end of the week, and we are going to see a cool down to the west, but then we're going to heat up again. It's really literally been that kind of roller coaster. Warm and humid stretch ahead to the east. We are going to be seeing that heat develop. It's going to feel like the high 30s, low 40s through much of southern Ontario and in through parts of Quebec. But we do have some active weather on the way. We've got the potential to see some isolated thunderstorms Wednesday into Thursday as the Prairie system moves its way east. Okay, do you think you live in one of the most livable cities in Canada? Here's Rachel Schutzen with more.
Home to over...
Okay, well, we all know that I love the heat. You love the heat? Well, if you do, we've got another stretch ahead throughout eastern Ontario and eastern Quebec, as well as the Atlantic provinces. We are going to be seeing our heat and humidity really kick it up a notch for the next few days. It's actually going to feel more like the mid to high 30s, even into the low 40s by midweek. Montreal feeling closer to 37 when you factor in that humidity by Wednesday, and Toronto feeling closer to 34. And then as we get into Thursday, yeah, there's that feeling closer to 40 for Toronto, and Windsor feeling closer to 39. To the west, well, we're going to see that roller coaster. By the end of the week, we're looking at 30 for Vancouver, but as we get closer to the weekend, cooling down dramatically. We're going to get back into the low 20s. Don't go anywhere. Your local details are next. Hi there, I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks for joining us. Your Weather Watch continues. Today's headlines include dry conditions in the Maritimes, hot and muggy days ahead, and unsettled in the Prairies. We're going to get to all those details in just a moment, but first, take a look at this fast-flowing water. Heavy amounts of rain have caused some localized flooding in many areas, and unfortunately there's more rain on the way. In through Calgary, look at that, only 14 degrees and showers throughout the day today. Edmonton will start to clear out. We're starting to see that heavy rain kind of taper, but as this low continues to track its way east, we are going to be seeing the potential for some decent thunderstorms right across Saskatchewan, in through parts of Manitoba, and then supercell development certainly not out of the question throughout parts of northwestern Ontario, and it's all because of this low and the trough associated with it. So by later on today, we are going to be seeing the risk for some thunderstorms through Saskatchewan, and then that low, that triple point, that biggest risk right in that warm sector in through northwestern Ontario, not ruling out some tornadic activity as well. High pressure behind it, but we're still going to be seeing some fairly unsettled conditions and additional rainfall. We're looking at about 10 to 20 millimeters through parts of Alberta and in through parts of Manitoba, northwestern Ontario. Amounts will be greater. Okay, it was a busy weekend for rescue teams in the west. Here's Chrissy Van.
It was them. They were chilled but unharmed.
All right, thanks so much, Chrissy. We'll look forward to more details on those stories. If you're off to the PNE, why wouldn't you be? It's gorgeous and it's so much fun. Look at the forecast. We're looking at 23 degrees this afternoon and 28 tomorrow. The heat and humidity returning to Vancouver, but it's going to be short-lived. By the weekend, it's much cooler. Now, in through Toronto, if you're heading to the CNE today, we're looking at 27, feeling like 31, and then tomorrow it is going to feel like 34. Heat and humidity certainly making a comeback. We do have some active weather potentially on the way. This system could be tracking through to parts of southern Ontario by the weekend. And we want to know, speaking of weekend, have you started your back to school shopping? Yes, 39% of you. No, 61%. I'm the no. Maybe because I'm not going back to school, but my daughter's starting school. I can't really breathe about that. Okay, stay with us. Your local forecast is coming right up. Isn't that amazing? Beautiful. Thanks for joining us. I'm Emily Vukovic, taking a look at what's happening in the east this afternoon. The heat and the humidity is starting to build back in. We are going to be feeling closer to 26 through St. John. We're going to be feeling closer to 27 in Halifax and even in Newfoundland. Beautiful. Look at Gander. Going to feel like 32 degrees. But we do have a little bit of active weather through Newfoundland. We've got that potential along that cold front to see a few isolated thunderstorms, but for the most part, clearing out nicely for the Maritime provinces after yesterday's rain, and we are going to be seeing a nice clear sunny day through much of Ontario as well. And it's going to be hot. It's going to feel like 31 in Toronto, 31 through Sudbury, 27 up through Moosonee, 32 through Windsor and up towards Thunder Bay, 34 degrees. Not great because we do have a warm front coming in It's potentially going to be dropping a lot of rain to the north and into the south. Just north of Thunder Bay is where we could be seeing some active weather throughout the day today when that cold front moves through. Supercell development is a potential, could see very strong winds, heavy rain, and we're not ruling out the risk for an isolated tornado. This cold front is eventually going to work its way throughout Ontario, so Wednesday overnight into Thursday, we're going to see some showers and potentially some nocturnal thunderstorms. Now for tomorrow and into the remainder of the week, I mean, that heat and humidity is really just going to climb back up. So by Wednesday, we're looking at 34. That's what it's going to feel like in Toronto. Are you out and about in all this heat? How are those mosquitoes treating you? Want to get rid of them? Here's Rachel Schutzen. Mosquitoes, everybody's best friend in the summertime. Oof, yuck. Okay, to the west. I don't know if you're going to be having any mosquitoes in Calgary today. 14 degrees and rain. It's going to be wet. We do have the potential for some storms across the prairies. We've got that risk through parts of Alberta, Saskatchewan, in through Manitoba. It's anywhere along that trough and then the front as it works its way through. And I was talking about the potential for some supercell development. That's certainly not out of the question, right into that warm sector. We are going to be seeing storms potentially along that trough as well. And rainfall amounts, well, we've got an additional 10 to 20 millimeters, fairly widespread through parts of Alberta and in through Saskatchewan. And then when we are seeing that triple point of the low moving through, we're looking at about 20 to 40 millimeters through parts of Manitoba, through northwestern Ontario. Now, make sure you stay with us. Your local forecast details are coming up. That great story about whales and weather and your long-range forecast. Conditions, they're going to continue even into the evening. We're looking at 20 through the evening. So if you've got plans for a bike ride or maybe for a stroll on the beach, well, it's going to be beautiful. Faring better tomorrow through parts of Alberta. Calgary getting up to 18 today, or 14 and raining. And into the east, not much to talk about. We've got a lot of sunshine and warm temperatures on the way. The heat and humidity is going to start to build. Active weather across the prairies today. I'll get to that in a moment, but first let's focus on this heat. It's rising. We are going to be seeing temperatures into the 30s, but feeling in some cases high 30s, low 40s by the end of the week. Now across the prairies, it's going to be warm in some areas, cool in others. We've got this big trough in the jet stream, but this area of low pressure is going to be tracking its way east, bringing in the potential for some isolated severe thunderstorms firing up through northwestern Ontario. Then the prairie low starts to track its way through Ontario, and this is going to be your story Wednesday overnight and into Thursday as it tracks through Quebec and in through parts of Atlantic Canada. Could see some nocturnal thunderstorms. How long will these storms stick around for? Well, you've got the details coming up in your Long Ranger. Okay, well, to the west, it has literally been a roller coaster. You've had heat and then a cool down, heat and then a cool down. And guess what? That's going to happen again. We're going to have hot, muggy conditions until Friday, and then this cold front comes through. And with it, we start to see quite a bit of rainfall through parts of the interior, along the foothills, and in through parts of Alberta, eventually moving into Saskatchewan. So here's how the temperature trend goes. We've got warm air filtering in through BC. We've got a cool down through parts of Alberta. Cool down tracking east by Wednesday in through Saskatchewan, then through Manitoba. But then look behind me, the ridge starts to build again. So it's really going to be kind of mid-country where we see that cool down. And I'll show you what's going to happen through Vancouver come the weekend, because you're going to be hot and muggy until then. 30 on Thursday, 28 come Friday, and then you drop significantly to 23, 20, and then kind of slowly climb back up. Calgary, your 7-day forecast is kind of the opposite. You're feeling your cool down now, and then you'll start to warm up as we get to the weekend. It literally looks like a roller coaster. Now to the east, we do have warm, humid conditions continuing throughout the day on Thursday. Could see some showers. Friday is going to be fairly warm and muggy. And then behind that cold front, we're going to see that cool down in temperatures. By the end of the weekend, we're looking at the low 20s through the lower Great Lakes. Stay with us. Coming up, your local forecast, force of nature, and must-see videos.
This afternoon, if you're flying out of Halifax, clear skies, good for flying, 24. Montreal above average at 27, above average in Toronto as well at 27 too. Seasonal is 25. We've got Calgary with showers. Yeah, that's below average at 14. It's a raw fall-like day. Early fall, though, 14. Los Angeles, 29. Phoenix gets up to a hot 38 degrees. Towards Houston, it's 32. New York City, 27. Nice for strolling through Central Park. And then Havana, 31 degrees this afternoon with a chance of thunderstorms.
Melbourne, Australia made the #1 spot. Vienna, Austria at #2. Vancouver came in 3rd. Toronto at 4th. And the 5th spot, that's home to Calgary, Alberta.
Okay, well, we all know that I love the heat. You love the heat? Well, if you do, we've got another stretch ahead.